The coffee's gone cold again. Third cup today, and I haven't tasted any of them. Identity theft spanning East Meridian and Klein Heights, exactly as Okonkwo described. 3 victims across different neighborhoods, all hit within the same 72-hour window. The perp skimmed surface memories, the usual haul of credentials, addresses, access codes, then flipped them for a few extra terabytes. Amateur hour. The kind of case that give rookies. I ought to be relieved. After what happened with Reyes, after that corrupted data that nobody wants to acknowledge, I should welcome something straightforward. A case I can wrap in a week and shelve forever. The first victim's memory file loads on my screen. Access log, unremarkable. Metadata, standard format. Intrusion signature, painfully obvious. Some idiot hammered an outdated node with a basic exploit package, grabbed their payload, and bolted. No finesse, no creativity. The kind of perpetrator who practically signs their work. I scan for encoding anomalies, for patterns hiding beneath the surface. Nothing. Just another case file. Just another day. I tell myself to focus. You are listening to Evermind, The Thread, Episode 2, Noise. A 7th Room production. Created and produced by Mike Scott. Chapter 2, Shadow. The victim's name is Alara Sung, 72 years old. Retired data architect, he spent 30 years building the systems someone just used to rob her. She sits across from me in interview 2, hands folded, eyes sharp despite her age. She stares at her hands, then up at me, then back down. They took my banking credentials, she says quietly, and my daughter's contact information. Her jaw tightens. And the access codes to my storage unit where I keep Tomas's things. She shakes her head, voice hardening. I keep telling myself I should have updated the firmware, but... She looks up, suddenly defiant. Why should I have to? It's my mind, my memories, not some public terminal anyone can just walk into. When did you first notice something was wrong? 3 days ago. I wanted to relive a memory, my husband's birthday, 5 years back. She hesitates, her fingers trembling slightly as they find the spot behind her ear, where her Evermind Node sits beneath the skin. The system wouldn't let me in, said the file was damaged. Her eyes dart away, then back to mine with sudden intensity. Someone had been in my memories. My memories. She laughs, a brittle sound that doesn't reach her eyes. I should be grateful they only took financial data. But then I think, what else did they see? Did they watch Tomas blow out those candles? Did they feel how his hand felt in mine? 40 years of marriage, and now I don't know if those moments are still just ours. Her voice breaks slightly. I wait, giving the silence room to breathe. I understand, I finally say, unconsciously touching the node behind my ear. What happened to you isn't just theft. It's trespassing against your most private self. I shift forward in my chair, dropping my voice to just above a whisper. Mrs. Sung, I need to ask you some standard questions now. They might seem basic, but in cases like this, it's often the smallest inconsistencies that lead us somewhere. She nods. In the days before you got the alert, anything unusual when you went under? When you accessed your memories? Any moments that felt different or took longer than normal? Nothing. That's what frightens me. They were in and out without leaving a trace. If I hadn't tried to relive that particular memory, I might never have known. What about your Evermind account? Any login alerts? Any messages from the network saying someone accessed from a new location? She shakes her head, embarrassment creeping into her expression. Those alerts? I wouldn't even know where to find them. My daughter handled all the technical parts. I just slip under when I want to relive a memory. Yesterday's misplaced glasses. Her eyes soften momentarily, gaze drifting somewhere beyond the interview room. My wedding. The day May took her first steps across our living room floor. My mother's laugh during our last summer together. The softness hardens as she refocuses on me. And now, some stranger has walked through it all like it's a public museum. Alara is far from alone. Countless individuals glide through the digital landscape, blissfully unaware of the lurking dangers. They engage with the technology as if it were a benign companion, never grasping the sinister potential that hackers wield. Their data, their memories, these are not just personal treasures. They are targets for those who thrive on exploitation. Imagine a shadowy figure, not content with mere theft, but intent on revisiting the most intimate moments of your life. These creeps don't need to take anything tangible. They invade your mind, reliving cherished memories as though they were their own. The very essence of your existence becomes a playground for their voyeuristic desires. In their naivety, people like Alara overlook the fact that every time they connect, they leave behind a trail, a digital footprint ripe for the picking. They trust the system, believing their memories are safe, oblivious to the specter of intrusion that hovers just beyond the veil of their consciousness. Each moment they access their past could just as easily become a gateway for an unseen predator, one who watches and waits, eager to exploit the vulnerabilities woven into the fabric of their lives. I tell her we're going to find whoever did this, that I'll keep her updated on our progress. She thanks me, and I watch her leave, and I think about my own memories, about all the moments I've stored without thinking, about what it would feel like to have someone else inside them. Chapter 3. Again. The pattern appears on day 3. I'm cross-referencing the victim's access logs, looking for common intrusion points, when I see it. Just for a moment, a flicker in the encoding layer. Characters that don't match any standard set. I freeze. It's the same signature, the same structure I found in the Reyes files. The thing Tech said was corruption, the thing Okonkwo told me to forget about. My hands hover over the interface. I should flag this, should call someone over, should follow procedure. Instead, I run the comparison myself. Once, twice, 3 times. The match is exact. Not similar, exact. The same sequence of non-standard characters, appearing in the same position within the encoding layer, structured in the same way. I sit back in my chair, stare at the code. It's a different case, different district, different perpetrators. There's no reason the same encoding anomaly should appear in both. The Reyes operation in Oldport and this Klein Heights identity theft have nothing in common. Different methods, different targets, different everything. Unless the signature isn't about the crimes at all. Unless it's about something else entirely. I close the file. I don't flag it. I don't tell anyone. I just close it and move on to the next victim's records, and I pretend I didn't see what I saw. But I copy the data to my personal drive before I do. Chapter 4. Easy. The investigation proceeds methodically. I interview each victim, a middle manager from East Meridian, then a university student whose parents purchased her a premium node without teaching her proper security protocols. Their stories follow the same pattern: outdated firmware, basic password protection instead of DNA verification, and complete unawareness of the breach until system failures occurred. I traced the digital fingerprints back through the network, following their convergence to an unremarkable residential node in Oldport. Marcus Thorne. The name sits alongside a sparse profile. 28, clean record, clocks part-time hours at a local fab shop, shares living space with a sister. Nothing that screams sophisticated data thief. The case wraps up with suspicious neatness. On day 5, I lay out the evidence trail for Okonkwo. Her eyes scan the holo display methodically before she taps her authorization code into the system. Efficient work, Detective Voss. I nod once. Just doing my job. Her gaze lingers on my face. Something else on your mind? My eyes snap to hers, perhaps too quickly. Nothing. Sleep deficit catching up with me. She leans back and holds my stare a beat too long. The silence stretches until I almost confess everything. Rest up. Tomorrow you make your first bust, and we round these assholes up. Chapter 5. Hollow. Rest never came. Dawn finds me bleary-eyed in the passenger seat as our vehicle cuts through morning fog toward Oldport, warrant authorized and tactical plan locked in. Marcus Thorne doesn't run, doesn't fight. He opens his door, sees my badge, and his whole body sags like someone cut his strings. I knew you'd come eventually, he says. His sister, Delia, is harder. She's in the back room when we enter, frantically wiping drives, destroying evidence she doesn't realize we've already copied. She curses at me when I cuff her, calls me things I've been called before. I don't react. I just do the job. At the station, Marcus talks. He tells us everything. How he learned to crack outdated nodes, who taught him, where he sold the data. He's cooperative to the point of eagerness, like confession is a relief. It was just supposed to be easy money, he says. Surface stuff, names and numbers. Nobody gets hurt. Tell that to Alara Sung, I say. She can't access her wedding memories anymore. 40 years of her life, and you corrupted them for pocket change. He looks away, doesn't have an answer. I don't feel satisfied. I should. We caught the bad guys. We'll restore what we can for the victims. Justice will be served. But all I can think about is the signature. The pattern that appeared in his files, too, buried in the encoding layer, identical to what I found in Rhea's and the others. It wasn't Marcus. It wasn't his tools. The signature was there before he ever touched those memories. Something else left those marks. Chapter 6. Proof. Sleep doesn't come. I stare at my ceiling, thoughts circling like vultures. Coincidence. Pattern recognition. The mind's desperate need to connect unrelated dots, seeing faces in random cloud formations, hearing messages in white noise, finding order in chaos. That must be what's happening. I spotted one anomaly, and now my brain hunts for it everywhere. Confirmation bias, apophenia. These psychological terms exist precisely because our minds play these tricks so frequently. But that perfect match. My feet find the floor. I slip into my robe, fingers wrapping around my mind glass. Blue light washes over my retinas as I drop into my chair. Just one quick verification, just to prove I'm seeing ghosts. 3 files materialize in my workspace. Rhea's, my unauthorized copy, Sung, and Thorne. I initiate the character sequence comparison on the anomaly patterns. The result? 100% identical. Not 99%, not suspiciously similar. 100% exact correspondence. Every character, every position. Perfect alignment. My breath catches. Corruption doesn't behave this way. By definition, corruption is disorder, entropy devouring structure, systems breaking down randomly. Identical corruption patterns across separate cases, times, and network sectors? Statistically impossible. Unless it isn't corruption at all. Dad's voice echoes in my memory. His hand on my shoulder that night, teaching me to see what's actually present rather than what I expect to find. So what am I actually seeing? My fingers fly across the interface, programming a new search protocol. Expanded parameters. Every division case I've touched. Every file I can legally access. Algorithms set to flag any instance of the signature. Hours until completion. I should rest. I don't. Chapter 7. Seeds. The search completes at 5:17 a.m. 12 matches. I scroll through the results with trembling fingers. A 6-month-old fraud case. A blackmail investigation from before I joined division. System audits. Routine checks. Files that shouldn't share anything in common. Yet there it is. The signature. Perfect in its replication. Not a single character out of place, not a single variation in structure. Hidden where only the most obsessive would look. My coffee sits forgotten, a cold ring forming on my desk. Something electric runs through me, that childhood feeling when a puzzle piece slots perfectly into place, when the world suddenly makes a different kind of sense. My heart races with equal parts thrill and dread. I build the database meticulously. Timestamps, geographic markers, user access logs. I map everything, searching for the thread that connects these 12 instances. There isn't one, not in the conventional sense. What emerges instead is a pattern of deliberate dispersion, like someone, something, scattering breadcrumbs across unrelated sectors of the network. Different crimes, different victims, different jurisdictions. Different time frames. Only the signature remains constant. You're imagining things, I whisper to myself, echoing Okonkwo's dismissal. Finding patterns in static. But I know better. Random corruption doesn't replicate with mathematical precision. Random corruption doesn't maintain structural integrity across months of separate data. Whatever I've found, it's not a glitch. It's a signal. Chapter 8. Inherited. My mind glass pulses with Silas's call, his avatar materializing in my peripheral vision. It's late afternoon. I've been at this for over 30 hours straight. Checking in, he says. Haven't heard from you. Been busy. Just closed that identity theft case. I heard. Chen mentioned it. There's a pause on the line. I can hear him moving around his workshop, the soft clink of tools, the hum of equipment. How are you really, though? Fine. That's what you always say. Because it's always true. Another pause, longer this time. How much time are you spending with your father's echo? I tense. Why does everyone keep asking me that? Because everyone cares about you. Because talking to a reconstruction of your dead father every night isn't the same as processing grief. Because... He stops himself, takes a breath. I'm not trying to lecture you, kid. I'm trying to check in. I don't talk to him every night. No? No. It's true. This week I haven't talked to my father's echo at all. I've been lost in my own private labyrinth of data points and connections, hunting something that flickers at the edges of everyone else's perception. Silas is quiet for a moment. When he speaks again, his voice is careful. Too careful. Last time we talked, you mentioned those encoding anomalies. The ones from the Reyes case. A pause. You let that go, right? Like we discussed? The words catch in my throat. I could confess everything. The 12 new instances I've found, how the signature appears across completely unrelated cases. I could tell him how I've stayed up 3 nights straight, tracking this ghost through the network. How it feels less like a glitch and more like something watching back. But I remember what he said that night in his workshop. Be patient. If there's really something in those files, it'll still be there tomorrow. He was asking me to slow down, to be careful. I didn't slow down. I sped up. It was nothing, I say. Corruption artifacts, just like Tech said. The silence stretches. I can almost hear him weighing my words, deciding whether to push. Good, he says finally. But there's something underneath it. Relief, maybe. Or doubt. That's good, Alex. Why do you ask? No reason, just... Another pause. Your father used to lie to me the same way. Same tone, same words even. It's nothing, Silas, just a pattern I noticed. My throat tightens. I'm not lying. I know. He doesn't sound like he believes me. Dinner this weekend? I'll make that soup you like. Maybe. I'll let you know. Take care of yourself, kid. And if you ever want to talk about what you're actually working on. He lets the sentence hang. I'm here. No judgment. Just like I was for him. The line goes dead. I sit in the silence of my apartment, staring at the database I've built. 12 files, 8 cases, 6 months. Your father used to lie to me the same way. What was my father lying about? What did Silas know? What did he see happening back then that he's seeing again now? Something is in the network, and Silas knows more than he's telling me. Chapter 9. Warm. I'm deep in a data trance when the knock comes. 3 sharp raps that jolt me back to reality. When I open the door, Lyra's there in the hallway, arms folded tight across her chest, expression making it clear she didn't bother with a courtesy text. You've been avoiding me, she says when I open the door. I haven't been. 3 days, Alex. I texted you about dinner on Tuesday and you never responded. I try to remember Tuesday. I can't. The calendar in my mind has collapsed. Search protocols at 2 a.m. bleeding into database queries at dawn. Case files open on 3 screens, while unauthorized pattern analysis runs in the background. Somewhere in there I must have slept. Somewhere in there, Tuesday happened. But all I can recall is the blue glow of data pulling me deeper. I'm sorry, I say. Work has been intense, I know. It's always intense. She pushes past me into the apartment, and I watch her take in the state of things. The empty coffee cups on the counter. The blanket wadded up on the couch where I've been sleeping. The holographic displays I forgot to dismiss, still hanging in the air, casting pale blue light across the room. She walks toward the main projection, studies it. I see her trying to make sense of what she's seeing. File names, timestamps, encoding comparisons. What is this? Just research, for a case. Which case? I don't have a good answer. Background work, pattern analysis. She turns to face me. Her expression has shifted, concern now, not annoyance. This looks bad, Alex. When's the last time you slept? Actually slept, not just passed out at your desk. I don't have an answer for that either. When's the last time you ate something that wasn't coffee? Silence. She crosses to me, takes my hands. Her skin is warm. I realize mine is cold. I want to go somewhere this weekend, she says. Just us. There's a place out past the understory. No network coverage, no work access. Just trees and quiet and actual human interaction. Lyra, don't say you can't. Don't say work won't allow it. She squeezes my hands. You're not even on call. I checked with Chen. She checked with Chen. She's worried enough about me that she's calling my colleagues. That's more than casual, more than fun. She's starting to care in a way that means something. I think about the database, the search I was planning to run tonight, the new parameters I want to test. I think about the way Lyra is looking at me, like she can see me slipping into something and she wants to pull me back. Okay, I say. Her eyebrows go up. Really? Really, this weekend, trees and quiet. I could use it. She studies me for a long moment, like she's waiting for the catch. Then something in her softens. She steps closer, cups my face in her hands. Where do you go? She asks quietly. When you're not here. When you're looking at me, but you're seeing something else. Where is it? I think about the pattern, the signature that looks like language, the growing certainty that I've found something no one else has seen, or no one else has admitted to seeing. Nowhere, I say. I'm right here. She kisses me, soft, hopeful. I kiss her back, and I tell myself that I'll go on the trip. I'll be present. I'll take a break from the patterns and just be a person for 2 days. I tell myself a lot of things. Chapter 10. Pull. Saturday morning, I wake up before dawn. Lyra is still asleep beside me, breathing slow and even. We're supposed to leave in 4 hours. I should be packing. I should be looking forward to a weekend away from screens and data and the thing I can't stop thinking about. Instead, I lie in the dark and feel the pull. One more search, just to see if anything new has appeared. Then I'll pack. Then I'll go. I slip out of bed. The floor is cold. I move quietly, carefully, the way you move when you're doing something you know you shouldn't. The mind glass sits on my nightstand, sleek and minimal, nothing like the exoskeletal rigs the deep divers wear. I ease them onto my face, and ghostly blue interfaces bloom across my vision, painting the darkness with data only I can see. Full immersion would lock me in place, dead to the world. This way, if Lyra stirs beside me, I'll know. This way, I can pretend I'm still half present. I pull up my personal drive. The algorithm I built takes 3 minutes to complete its scan. I've refined it since last week, widened the scope, improved the detection threshold. It should catch more instances now. The results populate. I stop breathing. 12 was last week's count. That was before I refined the parameters, before I understood what I was really looking for. The new count is 47. 47 files, spanning 8 months, scattered across every sector of the network I can access. I scroll through the list. My hands are shaking slightly. Cases I've never heard of. Files I have no reason to see. The signature appears in memory theft investigations and fraud cases and routine audits and accident reports and missing persons files and archive maintenance logs, and it's everywhere. The pattern appears again and again. and again. I think about what Okonkwo said, corruption artifacts from non-standard tools. But there are no non-standard tools that touch all of these files. There's no common vector, no shared process, no single point of origin that could explain how the same signature appears in 47 unrelated locations. Unless the signature isn't coming from the files at all. Unless it's coming from the network itself. I sit motionless as the list scrolls past, blue light reflecting off my face in the gray pre-dawn darkness. My pulse quickens the way it did when I was 17, that first time I cracked an encryption that wasn't meant to be broken. The vertigo of standing at a precipice, peering into something vast and unknown that no one else can see. My father saw patterns where others saw noise. Half the time he was chasing ghosts. The other half, he was 3 steps ahead of everyone. I don't know which half this is yet, but I'm going to find out. Chapter 11. Exception. You're not coming. Lyra's voice behind me. I don't know how long she's been awake, how long she's been watching me scroll through data in the dark, mind glass glowing against my face. I pull off the glasses, turn to face her. She's sitting up in bed, arms wrapped around her knees. The gray pre-dawn light makes her look tired, makes her look like she already knows what I'm going to say. Something came up, I start. Work. Don't. Her voice is quiet, not angry, worse than angry. Don't lie to me, Alix. You've been lying to me for weeks. At least have the decency to stop now. I don't have an answer. She's right. What is it? She asks. What's so important that you can't take 2 days away from it? That you can't even sleep? I think about trying to explain. The pattern, the signature, the growing certainty that something is in the network that no one else has seen. But how do you explain an obsession to someone who isn't inside it? How do you make it sound like anything other than what it is? A choice to be somewhere else. I can't tell you, I say. Not yet. I don't understand it well enough myself. But you understand it well enough to choose it over me. The words hang in the air. I want to argue, want to say that's not what this is. But it is. That's exactly what this is. I'm sorry, I say. Next week, I promise. I'll explain everything. She looks at me for a long moment. Then she pushes back the covers, stands, starts gathering her clothes from where they're scattered across my floor. Lyra, don't. She pulls on her shirt without looking at me. I knew what I was getting into. You told me that first night. You said you weren't good at this, at being present. I just thought... She shakes her head. I thought maybe I could be the exception. She finishes dressing, pauses at the door. Figure out your pattern, Alix. I hope it's worth it. Then she's gone. I sit in the silence of my apartment, the list of 47 files still glowing in my mind glass. She was starting to care, and I just showed her exactly where she ranks. I should go after her, should explain, should prove that I can be present when it matters. Instead, I put the glasses back on and turn to the data. 47 files, 8 months of accumulated signatures, a pattern that no one else has seen, or no one else has admitted to seeing. I'll make it up to Lyra. I'll explain when I understand what I'm looking at. She'll understand. I tell myself a lot of things. Then I start cross-referencing the new results, looking for connections, building the map that will show me what this means. Somewhere in the network, something is leaving marks, and I'm the only one looking. Next time on Evermind, The Thread. The anomalies aren't random. They cluster, they converge, like a boundary around something that doesn't want to be found.